Hey everyone, Andy here. Just going to post a quick update on the COVID relief stimulus bill and sort of the new proposal that's come in from the Mnuchin Trump side of things. So there was initially a $908 billion economic relief proposal, bipartisan one that had support over the last 5 days, which sort of was which came from some senators and bipartisan, which had a lot of hope behind it versus other bills which were much more along party lines. But then today, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Trump came out with a new proposal that is changing things up. And I'll show you the difference between these two proposals shortly. Please, if you find this information useful and you want to get the latest updates, consider subscribing and hit the like button below this video. So what is the biggest difference between these two proposals? And there's obviously these are complex stimulus bills, but essentially it boils down to I think two big things that are relevant for the viewers of this channel. One is that the original bipartisan bill had no stimulus check. It had $300 per week of supplementary unemployment insurance. It had 16 weeks of PUA and PUC extension. So those are the programs for freelancers and gig workers, plus also extending existing state benefits. So it was a pretty, important program that finishing at the end of December this year and covers close to 20 million Americans. So that was sort of the deal structure that they're going in with. They sacrificed the stimulus check to keep the overall package below $1 trillion. And I have a whole video on this, and I'll post in the link below. Then the new proposal that came out from Mnuchin and Trump today, and presented by Steve Mnuchin, was they want a stimulus check, $600 per person and $600 per child. And the idea was to fund this from, the CARES Act, that was the funding that was unused in the February-March CARES Act, that $2.2 trillion stimulus bill. But they also needed to cut more funding, and they've done that by providing no extra unemployment insurance. So the $300 extra a week, think lost wages assistance, that's going to be out. So there's only going to be, the standard state extended by PUA and PUC, which, is potentially 8 weeks, but given the funding is only a quarter of what's in the $908 billion bipartisan deal, I'd say it's struggling to get over 8 weeks, close to 8 weeks. So that's a big cut to unemployment. So they've basically decided to do a stimulus, one-time payment, and then less unemployment. And I think part of this is just because the Trump administration is on the way out, and they'll get more bang for their buck if they do a stimulus versus unemployment, which will go for several weeks, and the effect will not be as immediate and touches much fewer Americans. The stimulus will probably hit 80 million Americans. Unemployment is maybe 20 million Americans. So I think that's part of the reason behind that. And you'll see here that just to show you what some of the websites are saying. I looked at the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post, and there is obviously a lot of back and forth, and I definitely recommend you read these articles. I'll post some links there which has some good details on this stuff. But it basically is highlighting that the liability shield and this stimulus check were the two big things that the Trump administration wanted. That's where they stand. Meetings will continue. This was the original 908 package over there, and as you can see there, it had $300 per week, and then obviously both packages have funding for COVID and small businesses, right? So you'll see some of the comments here. Some of the senators is obviously it's just interesting to read this amount of back and forth. And what I like about the Washington Post article here, which is slightly more interesting, is that it does talk about the two big differences, which is that $300, and this is where I was highlighting. There's $180 of funding for this one versus $40 billion for the one of the $916 billion proposal. So that's almost $140 billion funding difference, and I think that's going to mean unemployment is going to be shot. It's going to be very little, and so those on unemployment would not be very happy with this. Those who would be getting a stimulus check would be very happy because it's basically going to get $600 per person, $1,200 if they have a spouse, and $600 per kid. So that obviously will resonate with a group of people. So this is again going to become a political football, and I think it'll just take a few more days, potentially weeks, which does, I think, create jeopardy of this getting done, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, like I said, I'll post some links below. Please subscribe or like for the latest updates. I'll probably be posting a daily update on this, and lots more to happen. Thanks. Bye.